All right, so we're just going to continue our lesson for today. I'm just going to move this over up here. And just continue with leasing vehicles. And if you have any questions, again, just send me a message. You can pause this video at any time. You can write stuff down, take your time. I'm just going to move through it because there's so much of a limitation on how long I can record for. So we're going to do calculate the cost of leasing each of the vehicles described below. So we're just going to do A together, and I'll have you do B by yourself. Okay? So what's the cost of leasing a vehicle that has a $3,000 down payment, 48 months of payments of $329.99? You're going to put down a $350 refundable deposit, so you might not need to pay that. And you are going to be charged HST for each monthly payment. So step one is always going to be, what is my monthly payment, right? So my monthly payment is this plus the HST. So I'm going to go and find that. How do I find HST? HST is equal to the cost multiplied by 1.13, right? So I'm just going to put that in. Punch that into your calculator. You should get 372.89 cents. Okay? And so that's going to be your monthly payment each month. So then go back up here. What does it say is step 2? Cost of lease equals down payment plus monthly payments times length of the lease. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say step 2. Cost of lease equals down payment. So I'm just going to write that as DP plus monthly payments, which I'm going to write as MP, times number of months that you leased. Sounds good? So then I'm just going to write all that stuff in. So the cost of my lease is going to be equal to my down payment that I made was $3,000 plus my monthly payments after tax for $372.89, and the number of months that I leased it for was I made 48 of those payments. So I'm just going to do 3,000. You always do brackets first. 3,000 plus times 48. So I'm going to do 372.89 times 48, and that's going to give me 17,898.68. Okay? And then I'm just going to add 3,000. And I'm going to get 20.2898.68 dollars. Always add the sign. So therefore, assuming I get my refundable security deposit back, therefore, I'm just going to write this in. Assuming I get my security back, the lease will cost me $20,898.69 over 48 months. Cool? All right, so I'm going to have you do this one by yourself. Just one thing to note here, get rid of the PST, GST. I'm going to just have you do 13% HST. Okay? All right, kilometer usage surcharge. So one of the downsides, as we talked about, for leasing a vehicle is that you can't just use unlimited kilometers. They give you an amount of kilometers that you can use. Usually it's within a reasonable range, but depending on how much you use your car, it might not be for you. So if you exceed the kilometers that you use, you need to pay them for each kilometer that you go over, which quickly starts to add up, okay? So that's one thing you need to be careful about with your kilometer usage, is that you are constantly staying under the kilometers and the kilometers that they recommend you drive per year. So Kristen has a 3-year lease that allows her to drive 60,000 kilometers with a 20 cent surcharge on every kilometer over 60,000. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so that we can work with this. Okay, and then it says over 3 years, she drove 68,126 kilometers. What is her surcharge for exceeding the allowable hours, or allowable kilometers? Okay, and so the first thing you're gonna do, so step 1 is to always find how much extra did she drive. She's allowed to drive 60,000. You don't need to pay on that. You want to find out how much extra she drove. Then after you find that, you find the cost by doing excess kms driven times the cost per kilometer. So we're just going to work through this. So I'm just going to write this down. Excess kms is equal to how much did she drive in total? You just go back up and look. It says right here she drove 68,125. How much is she allowed? She's allowed 60,000. So now I'm just going to subtract those two. So you're going to do 68,125 minus 60,000. Punch that into your calculator, and you got a total excess of 8,125 kilometers. So that's how much extra she drove. Therefore, she drove an extra 8,125 kilometers. This she has to pay extra for. Okay, so then I'm going to go use this 8,125 kilometers into step 2. So we're going to find out the cost. How much did it cost her to drive those extra 8,000 something kilometers? So cost of excess kilometers is equal to excess kilometers driven, which we found in the first step, multiplied by cost per extra kilometer. So we're just going to go back to the question. How much did it cost her to drive each extra kilometer? 20 cents extra. So I'm going to put that in here. If that was in cents, make sure you convert it to dollars. So it always needs to be in decimal form. Oops. Okay, and I'm just going to put that in. So just do the math. So I got 1625.00. So therefore, that's how much extra she paid. Therefore, Kristen paid $1625 in surcharge because of her extra kilometers driven. Okay, so I will do 1 or 2 of these with you, but I think after you do a few practice questions, it'll start making sense. So again, I would do these on a separate sheet of paper. So I'm just going to maybe make my screen larger so that it looks like an extra sheet of paper, but it's completely up to you where you decide to do these. It'll just be easier. So I'm going to do A and C with you, and then you can do B and D and E by yourself. Okay? Actually, I might just do A with you because we're running out of time on the timer. And then I will do one more example. I'll put that on a different video for you. All right, so we're going to do number A. So number A says that this person drove 60. This person has an allowance of 65,000. They actually drove 71,000-ish. And there's 15 cent surcharge on every kilometer. So I'm just going to put that stuff in. So first things first, my step 1 is going to be to find, Step 1 is going to be to find out how much did this person drive extra, right? So I'm going to write 71,342, which was the extra they drove, minus how much they were allowed. So I'm just going to move this over here. Minus they were allowed 65,000, right? So I'm just going to plug those numbers in. 71,342 minus 65,000. So they drove an extra of 6,342 kilometers, right? And then step 2, I'm just going to take the extra they drove, cost equals extra kilometers driven multiplied by cost per kilometer, which was, I think, 15 cents. And that is going to be equal to 951.30, and that's how much it cost extra. It cost them an extra $930. Therefore, cost extra $951.30. Cool? All right, so this is another one. Calculate the cost of leasing each of the vehicles described below by assuming that the security deposit was not returned. So now you got to add that refundable security deposit into your final payment like we did with our first example. Okay, so step 1 is always going to be find how much it's going to charge. We're not going to do we're not going to do PSC GST. We're always going to do 13% HST. We're going to find out how much does each monthly payment actually cost. Okay, so each monthly payment is going to be $197.99, and we're going to find that after tax. So cost after HST is going to equal 197 times 99 times 1.13, and we're just going to plug that into our calculator, and we're going to do 197 equals 223.73. Okay, so that's going to be your monthly payments after HST. Then step 2 is going to be find out what your total cost of the lease is. So your total cost of lease is going to be whatever down payment you put onto it plus any monthly cost times number of months. So that's going to be your down payment was $4,500, which is just up here, right? Your monthly payments we found out were 22,373 multiplied by, he says that it's for 36 months. So I'm just going to do what's in the brackets first. So I'm going to do 223.73 times 36. So that I got was 8054.28 plus 4,500. And that gave me $12,554.28. Okay, that's how much he would get back if he got the security deposit back. And since this person did not get the security deposit back, we got to add that in. So we're going to do 12,554.28 plus whatever the security deposit was, 425. That's 425. Plug that into your calculator. Equals 1297.9.28. So therefore the cost was 12,979.20 cents. Okay. That's it.